This week, we're diving back into The Moondogs, Chapter 16 of Season 1. I've worked with my audio artist Zoran to infuse this chapter with more magic, more wonder, and more incredible artistry. And along the way, we're taking a look back at the Seventh Valkyrie journey as we make our way towards Season 3. Welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen Along. Let's rock and roll. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen Along. I'm your host, Colin Sharp, creator and current voice of the Seventh Valkyrie. And if you're a new listener coming through the series for the first time, welcome. And if you're a grizzled hero of Edera, it's awesome to have you back. Today's episode, we're talking about the Moondogs, Chapter 16 of Season 1. And if you haven't gotten there, spoilers, because we're getting inside the episode. And this one opens with Cyrus inside the jaws of a giant wolf, being carried along through a mystical forest that hums with yet more power than the rest of the expanse. But the wolf seems to be relatively unconcerned with eating him. It's just sort of taking him somewhere. Though midway through, a sort of separate force starts to tug at Cyrus's senses. There's something out there. That's not where the wolf is taking him, though, and instead their journey takes them to the top of a hill, where Cyrus takes a wolf-induced tumble down to an enormous, bustling compound in the heart of the woods, where wolf and man walk pleasantly alongside each other. There, Cyrus is greeted by Tristan, who introduces himself as the third of the Moondogs, and welcomes Cyrus to their den. There's not much exploration and not much explanation beyond that, though, because Tristan isn't really inclined to share more than he wants to. And even though he immediately clocks Cyrus as a Valgardian and gives him some instructions on kind of how to operate here, the rest is for Cyrus to figure out along the way. They pass by the barbecue pit, card games, music hall, bar, and finally make their way to a back room where Cyrus is supposed to be stored safely, except for the fact that two young people are having quite a time in there. And despite Cyrus being perfectly happy to wait, Tristan doesn't give nearly as much of a fuck as Cyrus does, and flings Cyrus into the room head first, leading to a mad scramble that leaves everybody either wheezing, unconscious, or very, 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 very pissed off. And with very little more explanation, Tristan locks Cyrus in and tells him to barricade the door, leaving us with a lot of questions. So let's take a look outside the episode. And I gotta say, first, the music that Zoran pulled from the air throughout this chapter was perfect, just like incredible. I can't imagine it any other way now than that, from the forest to the den of the Moondogs. And we have something here that is a situation that happens a lot throughout the series, but Cyrus is suddenly dragged into a very different situation than he's used to and tries to keep up. And that's partially because that's just how things happen, like he's from Valgardia after all and doesn't know anything about Edera. And it's also kind of partially because it's a great way for us to experience the world through Cyrus's eyes. You can see plenty of little details in here sprinkled around that will come to roost before the end of the season. And I bet for our returning listeners, those are standing out. But more so, we get to just sort of step into a world in action. Like, the people there are in their element. They're sort of going about life as if it's any other day. And it gives us that little bit of immersion and appreciation so we can see, again, this is how life is proceeding as normal. What happens when things change? And so Cyrus is kind of this little fish out of water that we get to see how he reacts. And against that backdrop, because the arrival of a Valgardian always bodes new, events, we get to see kind of how things change into, from normal life to responding to this, whatever is to come. Anyway, speaking of whatever is to come, if you're itching to get ahead, you're not alone, and you can do that one of two ways. You can listen to the episodes as they were released right now, today, for free, or if you'd like to experience the full magic of the series, you can join us on Patreon as a hero of Edera and get exclusive access to the Season 1 reimagining weeks before it hits the public. Choice is yours. We're just glad to have you along for the ride as we journey towards Season 3.